What day is it with Seth and Kelly? Hey everyone, it's me, Seth. Kelly is so close to being here. She told me to stall, and we have nobody watching, so this is going to be me stalling. I'm stalling, and we have a couple people watching. Kelly texted me that she was going to be home right at 4, so I think we can picture her running from work. But you know, welcome to the show. This is our 15th episode. This is going to be our season finale because, as all of our regulars know, meaning Kelly's mom and my father, Kelly got a camp job, which she will talk about when she gets here any second now. And, you know, I'll just pretend she's here for the next couple minutes. Hopefully she'll be here. So I can't believe it's been 15 weeks, Kelly. How about you? I can't believe it either, Seth. Wow, time just flew. And that rhymed, which is cute. So I am excited to have an extra day of the week back because, as everyone out there knows, Sundays, my fiance and I do Zumba. Mondays, I've been doing my Facebook Live series, Seth Sings Bisen-Hersh, which has been really fun. I'm doing 2007 this week. I'm talking about my 5th cabaret act, Why Am I Not Famous Yet?, which is still a question I grapple with daily. And that should be fun. And then Tuesdays, the virtual showcases are going really well. As I talked about last week, I put an ad in Backstage and I got over 200 responses. I'm still getting responses, and I'm now full through October almost with the virtual showcases on Tuesdays. And hopefully eventually, you know, we'll be able to do those live again. And then on Wednesdays, I have my podcast, Millennials Are Ruining the World, ? An exennial perspective, bridging the gap between generations X and Y. I'm not woke, but I'm awake. And this week's talk show guest is actually one of our guests today is on my podcast this week. And another one of my guests was on a few weeks ago. And Kelly's still not here. She said she'd be here a little bit after 4. I don't know. Is anybody watching? It says we have a few people watching. Feel free to comment and let me know. I don't know if Kelly's mom is here yet. Maybe Kelly's mom is waiting until Kelly gets here. I did get Smee for our final episode, as you see. I don't know. I thought she would get here by now. This is literally the reason why we are not doing any more episodes. It's because Kelly can't be here. And, you know, it's okay. Because, you know, August to me means traveling. And that's why I thought, you know, let's do this episode on traveling, because this is the first summer that I will have taken 0 vacations. And it's killing me that we haven't taken any. I'm getting a private message saying that I should just bring the guests in. We're fun and cool. And then the other one says, speak for yourself. Yes, I'm going to get to the guests in a second. You're right. I'm going to start with the guests a little early. But I was going to talk about traveling, just to say that I love traveling. I miss traveling. I have this app on my phone called Bin, which says where I've been. And I've been to 28 countries and 29 states. And I was planning on doing more this year, but unfortunately, I am not, as you know. But, you know, I love to travel, and I've now babbled for enough time. I think that I will bring in our first guest today because they all seem to be like they're ready and waiting. And it's okay. Maybe we'll be a little bit earlier. And Kelly will get here, guys. Kelly will get here. All right. So I'm going to read both Kelly's lines and my lines. Our first guest today, or my first guest today, soon to be our first guest today, has always liked to travel with many fond memories of the road trips he took with his family growing up. Things really took off in grad school, though, when he discovered the world of frequent flyer programs. Also known for his knowledge of subway systems, friends consider him to be a walking Wikipedia of travel knowledge. It's true. I'm his friend, and I do think that. He likes traveling in all of its forms, whether a 3-week cross-country Amtrak trip after high school graduation, a trip to Singapore with only 30 hours on the ground, an overnight ferry between Stockholm and Helsinki, or driving on the wrong side of the road from Sydney to Canberra, he has enjoyed them all. Please welcome Austin Horowitz. What's going on?
Hello, everyone. So I have a question for you because you were talking about the states and countries you've been to.
Yes.
What do you count as having been to a state? Like, what's your threshold? Is driving through a state okay?
No,
okay.
Driving through a state
because that's
not
a perennial
okay.
question as to when you can count actually having been somewhere.
I personally say you have to at least stay for an hour and see something there. So, like the state I think one of the only states I've been to I did not sleep a night in was Mississippi, because why would you want to sleep a night in Mississippi? But I saw Biloxi Beach. I stayed for an hour. Then I went to a national state park for an hour, and I was like, I count that. I did 2 separate hour
okay, so
activities.
you actually did something. But what about, like, if you're on a road trip, you're driving through and you stay overnight at a hotel, but you didn't see anything? Or you stop for
I don't
lunch
count
or
that.
something. No,
oh, I have good news, everyone. Kelly is here.
Yay!
I'm here.
I stalled as long as I could. I don't think even your mom is watching right now. So text your mom and tell her we're on.
Oh, okay, I should. Hi, I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm so glad I made it.
Yes, you noticed I put on a background of my last trip to Switzerland.
That is so cool. Oh my, I was going to say the background. Wow. Okay.
It's like a new thing they added that you can have a background.
Really? That's so cool.
I know.
Yeah,
I thought
before it was just black, right?
Yeah. So for this final episode, I finally learned how to use this feature.
That's awesome.
Switzerland, those are considered like speed bumps. I mean, those are like nothing. So
that's true. Yes. So the question that Austin was asking is, how do I consider?
When do you count a state as having visited? Like, what's your threshold? You know, like, is it just a meal? Is it, actually staying overnight? Do you have to do
something? I don't think you need to stay the night, but if you just drive through and you stop at a rest stop, I don't really count that personally, no.
What about a rest stop with a view?
Oh, we have Sarah watching. Thank you for watching, Sarah. Hopefully Kelly's mom will join soon. I was I figured she was waiting for Kelly to arrive. Your mom watched last week.
I know, I saw.
Yeah, we missed you terribly last week.
Oh, yeah, well, first of all, hi, Austin. Nice to meet you. I'm Kelly. Yeah, I just started a new job that actually ends at 3 o'clock, and it's in Manhattan, so it takes me like anywhere from like 30 minutes to 40 minutes to get back here. So, yeah, I like literally just started. I wasn't expecting to get a Monday through Friday job, but that's what happened. So yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm teaching, so it's super fun. I'm working with little kids, and it's like all positive energies and joy. So
yeah.
Awesome.
No, that's
true.
I heard little kids, and I'm just shaking my head like, no, keep them away from me, please.
Oh my God, I love it. I love little kids. I don't know, it's so fun. They're so sunshiny. They're not tainted yet by the world.
Yes, no, that is absolutely true.
That's true.
But Seth, you're going to have to run this episode because I can't really talk much about travel because I have not traveled a lot, unfortunately. I'm pretty sad about that, honestly. I hope in my future I get to travel a bit.
I hope so. Well, I was saying I've done 28 countries in 29 states. Austin, how many have you done?
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head, but I don't keep track of that. But a lot. I'd say that the areas
the BIN app, you can check them all off.
So I've never been to Africa, and
I'm
very weak in South America. I only have a couple of countries down right now.
I have not done any South America. South America was on the itinerary for this year, and it's not happening, clearly.
But and some of those places are kind of weird because, I mean, especially the past few years, most of my travel has been connected to work, and the problem is working with airlines and airports. Sometimes, as your definition of actually seeing stuff, you don't get to see stuff. So, like, probably 5, 6, well, probably a little bit longer now. I got to go to Sardinia, right? Italian island, right? But I don't think I strayed more than a quarter mile away from the airport for like the 3 days I was there. so because the airlines offices were on site, and the hotel was the airport hotel, and so like yes, I got to go there. It was beautiful when we were landing, seeing the beaches, but I never actually got to go to them. So
yeah,
so sometimes
that's a little different.
But it's the other thing I was thinking about travel is you don't have to go far to travel. I mean, one of the things I really love about travel is just exploring different things, but you can do that in your own backyard. I mean, there's so much to explore in New York that
I don't have a backyard.
Well, you do. You have the island of Manhattan.
Oh, I guess if you count that as a backyard.
I mean,
there's definitely things in Manhattan that I haven't been to, because we were looking at wedding venues. And our wedding planner brought us this really cute hotel museum that wasn't big enough for us, but it's called the Mount Vernon Hotel Museum, and it's a literal hotel from the 1700s that is the last colonial building on Manhattan, and it's all the way on York somewhere, and I never go that far east.
Yeah, no, and what about way up like Washington Heights
or the Cloisters? There's some stuff up there too. That's true. So maybe we should take a staycation and explore more of Manhattan.
Absolutely.
I really think that's cool what you said about you don't have to go very far to travel. It's kind of just about looking around. I mean, that's one of the reasons I moved to New York, because there's so much to see. I never get bored here. It's always exciting,
Kelly's mom is here. Yay. It would not be an episode without Kelly's mom.
And the counterpoint of traveling long distances is realizing that there are so many connections among us, our humanity. I mean, I remember, again, for work, I happened to be in the Middle East, in the Gulf, and the hotel I was staying at was having I don't want to say arts and crafts, but like jewelry and I was watching some of the women coming in to go shopping and stuff, and I realized that really there was no difference between them and I grew up in a Jewish family, everything. There was really no difference. I mean, I could totally imagine my mom and my aunt and all their friends going and a little gaggle and to go shopping, and it was just really halfway around the world, yet there's just something in common. So
we got a question from our peanut gallery. What do you do for work? So that's a good question to answer.
That's a good question. I'm never 100% sure either, but nominally I am currently working with a consulting firm focusing on commercial aviation. So I work primarily with airports and airlines and other companies that work with airports and airlines. My particular focus is more on planning. So I'll do things like network design and planning, helping airlines figure out where to fly, or helping airports get airlines in, pricing, sales, kind of a little bit of everything. So I've been at my current job for 14 years now. Prior to that, I actually worked for a little over a year at JetBlue, which was fun.
Yeah, I remember I got a free ticket to Seattle from JetBlue.
Yeah. I miss the travel privileges, but I don't miss the tiny paychecks. So you win some and you lose some.
That was a nice city to visit, Seattle. I think my friend Samid was doing a consulting gig for Microsoft, although I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I just did. It was so long ago. And there's a great sci-fi museum.
Yeah, that was the very last trip I took before this all happened. It was in February for my younger son, my 12-year-old son's birthday trip. So we spent, I think it was 4 days, 3 nights out there.
I can't believe your son is 12. And then the older one is 14 then?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Wait, so I have to ask, how do you guys know each other since I came in late?
Oh, you want us to feel old? Oh my goodness.
I don't think we answered that.
I'm curious. I always ask Seth's friends.
No, but we met in, it was what, fifth grade for you, I guess.
It would have been the summer after 5th grade at summer theater.
Yeah,
and we'll say in the 90s. We won't give a specific.
Early 90s, yes.
Okay.
Before Kelly was born in the 90s, and and we did.
Kelly.
We met at summer theater, and we did in the town show, we did Fiddler on the Roof.
Fiddler on the Roof, yes.
We were going to do a piano and violin duet, and then we decided that singing is more exciting than playing piano.
Right. So you saying I still played the violin at that point.
And his father made a roof out of cardboard boxes, and Austin played the Fiddler on the Roof, and I sang a Fiddler on the Roof. And even Nemser makes fun of me for that whenever I see him, which isn't very often.
That's so cool. So you guys are childhood friends. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. We've been friends for many, 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 many years. He was at my bar mitzvah. Yeah. He's one of 3 friends I still talk to from my bar mitzvah.
The rest are enemies.
That's how you know you have a true friend. I have 2 friends who I know are going to be like at my wedding and like in my life forever. So, well, I'm not engaged or anything, but I'm saying when I get married someday.
It's really hard to keep the guest list of a wedding low when you have a lot of friends. Say,
you're forgiven for not attending my wedding because my husband and I eloped down to City Hall.
Yeah, you didn't invite me, so it's okay. I'm happy to. I had an excuse for that. So
there were no guests, so you can't feel bad. But
I mean, is it really a wedding if you don't do a hora and break a glass? I don't know.
Yes, but
well, we're gonna have an overflow party for the 50 people who I can't invite to my wedding. I'm having a party the week after in a bar, and it's just gonna be like, come to this bar if you want to celebrate the wedding that we couldn't invite you to.
So you're basically going to rank your guests as to your personal value.
I think, well, I have to invite, family, and my mom's 22 people, and I have to invite all my friends from out of town. And so a lot of the people who actually live in Manhattan are kind of on the waiting list at this point. But I have too many friends. I did an Excel spreadsheet, and the number was over 200 that I wanted to invite, and we just can't afford that. So.
Oh my gosh. Well,
but people will hopefully be able to travel for our wedding. See how I brought it back to our topic?
Even just going anywhere now is so exciting. I mean, even just me going to work in Manhattan and being around people, it's like, it feels like a privilege, we take these things for granted. So I think it's cool that we're talking about travel, because I think we all realize now how special and important that is. Like now more than ever, for sure.
It's my first August without a vacation. Last summer, I took 4 vacations. This summer, I'm taking 0. But this is from my last vacation, this background. This is the Swiss Alps, where I was in Switzerland.
That looks beautiful, Seth.
So what is your favorite place that you have traveled, Austin?
Oh, that's so hard to say. I mean, because it depends what you're looking for. I mean, it's, I personally love kind of, theater and culture. So, I mean, obviously going to London is wonderful.
Oh, yes. Kelly's mom saw Fiddler on the Roof on Broadway 47 years ago.
But, at the same time, it's just as neat to, go to, someplace like Japan or Singapore. It's hard to choose a favorite because, everything is unique. The whole point of traveling is to be able to see, what's similar and what's different. So, I'm not a beach person. I'm not someone who can, take a beach and lie on, and so, I actually haven't been to a lot of the Caribbean, or anything like that. So it's hard for me to compare that. But, I mean, there's all sorts of different, natural beauty and culture and activities. So it's, there's no one favorite place. I'd want to go back everywhere.
Yeah. I don't think you should have to pick one either, and I love how you said that, it's kind of like universal when you go somewhere and you're like, you realize everyone is kind of doing the same thing no matter where they live in the world.
And for me, the places I love to go are the places that I've already become familiar with, because then it allows me to dig deeper, like Seattle. I've over the past decade or so, I've probably been to Seattle almost a dozen times, maybe a little bit less than that. And so now when I go, it's no longer just kind of getting oriented. I can actually find things to do in different neighborhoods that are outside of downtown, and where locals go, so to speak, and actually really get to know the city.
That's true. When I visited my friends in Copenhagen the second time, I got to see a lot more because I wasn't trying to see the same, you know, the touristy things.
Right. Yeah. So it's just so many different levels.
And do you think that it's better to be quantity or quality when you travel? Like,
I am firmly in the quality. It's, you know, I talk about doing road trips with my parents, and they were more in the quantity camp. And not to say that we didn't do stuff.
I'm definitely quantity.
They were all like, okay, here's our schedule. You know, this morning we drive, and at, you know, noon we're going to stop here and see this, and then at dinner we'll be here and see this. And I think I just rejected that, and I'm just like, I'm going to take the time I need to see what I want to see, and then, you know, like, then I can move on.
I did a 14-hour day in Stockholm, and I was completely on schedule the whole time.
I was going to say, and also if you're there over the summer, because, you know, you get like 20 hours of sunlight there, it's so hard to even keep track of time.
I was very, very maximalized. But then I did Finland, and that became more relaxed because there's nothing to see in Finland. You just go to a sauna.
Yeah, no, Finland is
my friend and I went to one of their friends had a lake house, and we just went in the lake. Then we went.
And that's absolutely. I mean, in Finland, that is the thing to do. I mean, so
yeah, we just did that for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
In the lake, in the sauna, in the lake, in the sauna. All right. Well, I think it's a good time to move on to our second guest. But thank you, Austin. We will bring you back.
Thank you, Austin.
Looking forward to it
at the end. All right. Do you have anything you want to say before we bring on our second guest, since we missed our little back and forth at this time?
Oh, I know, we did. Not really, except that I'm sad that I had to come late to the final episode of the season. I really do think, I'm glad I'm here though, because it could have been worse.
Yes. Well, we missed you last week. I had to do the whole thing myself.
Oh, how did it? Well, I'm sure it went well. I'm so glad my mom was there. I saw her comments. But yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of funny that we're talking about travel, because I feel like, you know, that's, you know, something that we used to do that used to be so normal to do and easy to do, and now it's so hard. But I feel like it's an interesting topic to end the season on, because I feel like now life is finally starting to sort of go back to normal. You know what I mean? A little bit.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
All right. So let's bring on our next guest. Our next guest today had her earthly birth in Pasadena, California, and moved all over the United States. At an early age, she started hamming it up with the Jacksonville City Ballet. Later on, she decided she needed more attention, so she studied musical theater at New Orleans Center for the Creative Arts. She studied theater at DeSales University and psychology at Marymount Manhattan College. She loves period pieces, TikToking, improv, and furry animals.
She has 20K followers on Instagram and more on her other social media accounts. She is part of a Rampage Jackson called A Psycho's Path. And finally, she loves it when people message her dick pics on Instagram. Just kidding, she hates that. Please welcome
Brianna Oppenheimer. Hey,
hello.
Brianna. She is live from an airport today.
Oh my God.
I'm actually at an airport, which is so topical.
Wow, that's very topical. You're actually traveling.
I'm actually traveling in the times of COVID with my face shield and my mask.
So where are you now? Salt Lake City?
I'm in Salt Lake City right now. Yep.
What are you traveling for?
Just kind of for fun. You know, I've been, like you guys, have been quarantining for a while, and I actually can't go to New York. I think you guys are both in New York.
Yeah.
Because if you're from California, you have to quarantine for 14 days.
It's true.
So
31 states that have to quarantine if you visit here. Because we don't have any cases at all anymore. It's like under 100 a day.
Yeah, I've seen you guys are like one of the green states.
Yes. We did it. We're like Canada.
I know. People are really bad in California. They still are like, I'm not wearing a mask. You can't make me. That's fake.
I think that's happening in New York too. Right down the street.
Oh, really?
From me. Yeah, right down the street from me on like the busiest street we have, the one with all the bars and stuff. People are just having dinner, having drinks with no masks on. It's crazy. Like, I mean, I understand people want to have fun, but it's crazy. It definitely is happening a lot.
I want to travel again. So I'm like, people, just wear your mask.
Yeah.
I want to go to foreign countries.
I know. I miss travel. I miss theater. Like, people need to just wear their masks for 4 weeks, and then we can open up a little bit more.
Yeah. So Brianna, how do you and Seth know each other? Well, I'm guessing it's a theater relation.
Yeah. It's a theater relation. Back in my days of living in New York City, I did this acting workshop thing. What was it called, Seth?
I think it was the Actor Project, maybe.
Oh yes, the Actor
and
Project.
I was playing piano for parts of it.
And we found out that we have the same birthday, which is February 28th.
Oh my gosh!
Birthday twins.
Birthday twins. So then we became immediate friends.
Yeah, I think that people with your birthday are like exactly like you. I just think it's weird but true.
It's weird. When you were talking about the kid thing, I was like, ew, yes, Seth. I'm about it. Ugh.
Is that I've never met anyone with my actual birthday. That's so crazy. I would want to, like, out of curiosity to see.
I know plenty of people with every birthday because I have almost 5,000 Facebook friends. The only day that I had no birthday listed was February 29th. And I don't know if it's because I don't know anyone who's a leap year baby or if Facebook makes you put in the 28th or March 1st.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I feel bad for people who had the birthday to 29th. I was going to write a song about that. And it was like someone lamenting their birthday. And then at the end, we find out it was February 29th. But I didn't think enough people would like understand the song. So I didn't write it.
Wait, so Brianna, so you're on TikTok? I'm a TikToker too.
Yes.
I love it. I need to follow you. I need to know what your handle is.
It's Bops Vids. BOPPZ and then VIDZ. So Bops Vids. Yes. Follow me and I will follow you back.
Cool. And also when I was reading your bio, I was like, oh my God. Oh, so your Vids with a Z, right?
Yes.
When I was reading your bio, I was like, oh my God, because I went to DeSales University.
Oh, really? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't graduate from DeSales, but I went there for 2 years right out of high school. I was in the musical theater program.
Oh, Kelly's mom's uncle was born on February 29th.
Small world.
So you know the tiny little Catholic school in the middle of the cornfields.
I had a lot of fun there. Oh my God.
It's a great theater school though. It's an amazing. It
really was. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot, and I made some lifelong friends. So
that's awesome. It's a good school. So that's kind of so with your traveling journey, do you mostly travel because of your art for acting and theater and stuff, or is it like a mix, like art and enjoyment?
Oh my gosh, I wish. I have gone on location for some films that I've done. I've gone into the far out desert, like Palm Springs, Joshua Tree. I've done some Western films, and the Western films, it's really kind of fun getting there because they're so out in the middle of nowhere that the roads stop and you have to drive on the sand. And I've gotten like stuck in the sand trying to drive to set on these like remote locations that are period pieces.
Oh my gosh.
That's an adventure.
Yeah, totally.
You have a lot of photos from like Japan. Didn't you do a whole like Asia trip, or was it just Japan?
I did. I went to Japan, and then a few weeks later I went to Singapore and Indonesia.
Oh, yeah, no, I haven't done any of those.
Oh my gosh. It was Japan and Australia are probably my favorite places.
Well, that saves us the trouble of asking that question.
Wait, can you tell us about Japan? That is like one of my #1 places I want to
go. Well, first of all, because you're blonde, you will really like it because they really love blondes. I'm just gonna lift this up because it's getting a little foggy and there's nobody close to me. But everybody is so polite in Japan. Even if people don't speak English, this happened to me on multiple occasions. I would say "Dorko desu ka," which is
where is it?
And people, they wouldn't speak English, but they would take my hand like in a very sweet and polite way and just take me to where I needed to go.
Oh my gosh.
dropped whatever they were doing that day and just take me around.
Wow.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I speak Japanese, but I have not been there yet.
Oh,
We're definitely planning to go, but I don't know when at this point.
It's just lovely. They love Americans, you know, and they love blondes. And so they were just so wonderful and welcoming. And there's so much culture there, the temples, the food, Tokyo. I saw snow monkeys like bathe in hot springs. And it was magical.
That's so cute. Kawaii na.
Mm-hmm.
Is that cute? Kawaii na?
Yes, kawaii.
Kawaii is cute.
Yes,
Rhymes with Hawaii, but the emphasis is a little different. Kawaii.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I've always wanted to go to Tokyo. That's like on my bucket list because I'm very big into like anime and just Japanese art in general. I'm like a huge fan. So I really want to do that at some point. So that's so cool that you went. Do you go traveling with friends or do you mostly go traveling alone?
I've done both. I think at some point in your life, everyone should do one solo trip to a foreign country because I think it's like a life skill, you know, to navigate the metro system wherever you are, to figure out how to go places. You meet people on your own. I definitely think it's harder, you know, and I highly recommend everybody trying a solo trip once.
My favorite thing to do is to have parts of the trip with friends and parts of the trip alone because I can't handle, I can handle my one friend who I travel with for 5 or 6 days, but most people I need a break from. So like the last trip, this Switzerland trip, I visited friends in Strasbourg. I spent 2 days with them. Then I did 3 days alone. I went to Milan, which I loved Italy so much. And then I did Bern, Switzerland. And then I saw them again for 2 days. And then I did 3 days alone in Belgium and Luxembourg and stuff. And I thought that was the best. And then when I did Scandinavia, I had friends in Copenhagen and friend in Helsinki. I did Copenhagen and then I did Oslo and Stockholm alone, then Helsinki. And I took a day trip to Tallinn, Estonia on the boat. You know, you take the boat across. That was amazing. And I thought that was perfect. So to me, a couple days alone, a couple days with people, then I don't get lonely and I also don't get annoyed at people.
Yeah, well, also everybody has a different traveling style. I know some people, they just want to park it, you know? They get to the location, they're like, oh, I'm in Paris, I'm just going to stay at my hotel and chill. I'm in Jamaica, I just want to sit here and chill. I am like you, Seth. I heard you saying earlier.
We're birthday twins.
I have a full bullet list of like what we're doing from like very early in the morning. And I'm not a morning person, but when I travel, I'm a morning person.
I jet lag myself to being a morning person for the first few days.
Exactly. And I want to see everything there is to see. But sometimes you think even your best friend, you think like, oh, you probably want to go to all these places with me. I've had some really bad experiences where my friends are like, you're exhausting me. I just want to relax. And I'm like, oops, whoops.
Yeah, I try to keep the itinerary lighter if I'm with a person for the day. Or maybe
I think that's a good idea.
Travel together because we would be compatible.
That's true.
We'd be like, let's see everything in this order. Yes.
Yes.
That's interesting what you said about travel styles, though, because I think that is very true. It depends on the person, and I think it must be like a big growth experience traveling alone, right? Because I have like a really good friend who like took like a whole world trip alone, and like you must really learn a lot about yourself, right? Just traveling by yourself, I would imagine.
Oh my gosh! So I went to Japan alone, and you know, I don't even speak a little bit of Japanese. I spoke like 3 words or maybe 5 words. And they have this high-speed bullet train. And you can easily go from one side to the other side of Japan on the bullet train. And I was jet lagged, so I accidentally fell asleep and I missed my my destination. And
Man.
you know, when you have someone with you, they can
Oh,
nudge you and wake you up. But since I was alone, I made it, you know, I was like almost on my way to Sapporo because I was, you know, I had been on there way too long. And I think it's helpful, you know, especially in a country where you don't speak the language. So you have to kind of communicate with your body language. You have to, you know, try to figure out with translating words. And sometimes you have to ask a few people, like, how do I get back to, I was going to Nagano, Japan. How do I get back to Nagano, Japan before you get your answer? And it's a little scary, but it makes you stronger and it makes you grow as a person.
Yeah, I think it's a great adventure.
I agree. I cannot recommend solo trips enough.
All right. Well, thank you, Brianna. We'll bring you back in a bit for our roundtable. That was so much fun. I love having all my friends on the show. Okay, you can do the first line for our next guest there.
Okay, so sorry, my I don't know why my thing keeps closing.
I love your name tag, Ms. Kelly.
Thank you.
Just in case we forget.
That is my shirt. It's well, the place I work is called the Art Farm. Art Farm.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. Okay, so our last guest. Our final guest today is a writer, performer, and filmmaker from the border of South Texas, where 45 wants to build his idiotic wall. He has way too much to say about almost everything, which is why he writes plays, films, musicals, poetry, sketch, and does stand-up comedy. He's an alumni of the Second City Training Center, Chicago, a proud member of Musical Theater Factory, the founding artistic director of Lone Star Theater Company, and the son of a preacher man.
He dedicates his life to telling the stories of Latinx and gay people living in the United States, and his theater works include Manuel versus the Statue of Liberty musical comedy, Promisa, a matriarchy musical, Animal Husbandry, Aztec Pirates, and the Insignificance of Life on Mars, Vox Pop, a musical parable, Pyramid, a musical adventure, hashtag 52 Songs of Song Cycle, Tales from Highway 281, Adani Julio y la Frontera 2003, Men of God, Abuelas, or The Poverty Cycle, Credo, But Babies Never Lie, a poetry cycle, and, if that was not enough, many short plays and films.
Finally, he is an avid X-fan, pophead, and recovering action figure collector. Please
welcome David Davila. What's up? I love your bio.
No, you guys got to stop reading that. It's too long. It's too ridiculous.
You sent it.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's ridiculous.
All right. Well, next time, you know, when I did your podcast, you made me cut my bio down from the 3,500 words to like 100.
Yeah, and you didn't make me, so.
Because I'm a nice person. I think it's
Is it
great
really
that
nice to put the audience through that, though? You're making your audience, like, they already stopped watching. They're like, oh my God, let me go to
Actually, we have increased viewership since a couple of minutes ago.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's because of your bio.
Yeah. Well, David, we chatted with you before. It's nice to see you again.
Yeah, it's nice to see you too.
Kelly's mom says hi.
I never read the bio.
How have you been doing? How are you holding up?
Fine. I'm still alive. I'm coming to you from New York City, sort of. New York City adjacent, New Jersey. Yeah.
It's close enough.
Oh, super close, like 10 minutes from Times Square. Yeah. Just on the other side of the river. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah, I think you're closer to my apartment than Kelly is.
Where do you live?
I'm in Astoria.
Oh, I love Astoria. I want to move to Astoria.
I just moved here, actually.
I used to live in Astoria when I first moved to New York. I lived in Astoria for 3 years, literally like in the center of Astoria on like Steinway and 30th Avenue, like hot spot, clubs and restaurants and bars and shopping and I never should have left. What was I thinking? Why did I do it?
It's cute. I love it so far. I think you're probably talking about like Ditmars Boulevard and everything, which has all the bars and stuff. It just stinks because I haven't been able to explore it all because of the whole situation.
Oh, really? How long have you been there?
Since June. I just moved here only a little over a month ago. So
yeah, I'd like to give you a whole tour. No, if you walk up Steinway, it's tons of Middle Eastern restaurants and stuff. It's really cool.
I know a fine way to walk up Steinway.
We just lost another viewer. We just lost another viewer.
Actually, we did. We did lose another viewer.
Oh my God!
Right. So, David, you travel a lot as well. I've invited my 3 friends who travel the most, I think.
I try. I didn't for a long time, though. I feel like I spent years not traveling.
No, I didn't travel at all till I got in my 30s.
Yes, in my 30s, I was like, what am I doing? Like, I don't have control over a lot of things in my life, but I can control, like, where I go. Like, if I have a long bucket list of things I want to do with my life, some of them are out of my control, and some of them, like traveling, are within my control. So I said, might as well start crossing some of those off. Yeah. How much is your rent, Kelly?
Wow.
Mark Rubb wants to know.
There might not be people in New York watching this, but in New York, rule of thumb is you tell everyone how much your rent is. Not a secret. But for those of you who are not in New York, maybe that's TMI. So it's up to you.
No. So I totally get it. It's okay. I mean, I have a pretty big, nice room here, and I pay $1,000. So for this room, it's not like, I think it's way worth it. The room I was in before I moved here, when I lived in Sunnyside, which is where I was when Seth and I chatted with you last, I paid the same amount, and the room was way worse than this, and it was like 1/3 the size. So I finally feel like I'm getting what I deserve.
Yeah, I think that your Wi-Fi is better at this place too.
My Wi-Fi is better. Well, my roommate situation is better. I had a scary roommate throughout.
She's in an apartment. Brianna is asking in our private chat. Do you have how many of you roommates?
Oh, I have 2 roommates. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a 3-bedroom.
Cool.
Mark Rubb says that is comparatively low.
I mean, New York is expensive. It's, it's crazy. You really need to hustle to live here. And I just can't see myself being anywhere else. I love it here. I can't help it.
I know. Me too. So, David, I know you had pictures from Mexico City. Was that your last trip, or did you do another one since then?
Say that again?
I saw your pictures from Mexico City.
Oh, I was in Mexico City for a whole month. That was awesome.
Yeah, those were really amazing. I haven't been to Mexico City. It was on my list of places to visit, but one of my friends went and saw someone get shot. They were driving from the airport, and they were on their iPhone, and they had it in the window, and someone came on a motorcycle, shot him, and took the phone. And that has talked me out of going to Mexico City.
Oh, my God.
Never seen anything like that in Mexico City, but
I'm sure you didn't. I'm sure it was a one-time thing.
Huh. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, in that sense, though, then I would say don't come to New York, because I was in New York. I was literally behind your building yesterday or the day before, and it was lined with people shooting up drugs and prostitutes. And mugged. And that's right outside where you live.
That's how this neighborhood used to be when I first moved here, like 18 years ago.
Yeah, well,
16 years ago.
Or whatever. Yeah. I mean, everyone's out of jobs. All those hotels behind you have become homeless shelters now, too. A lot of hotels have.
That's true, actually. I think that the hotel right there is a homeless shelter.
I mean, I'm glad that there's people have a place to stay during the pandemic. I think that was good for public safety. Mm-hmm. It seems inhumane, though. Are they going to kick them out? What are they going to do?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. They probably will.
Idea. I would not want to be the one in charge.
Oh, my God.
But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in New York. But so in Mexico's defense, I have seen awful things in New York. But
well, maybe I'll go to Mexico City then one day.
Mexico
I have someone in my showcase this week streaming from Cancun, where her family's from, and I thought Cancun would be a good place to visit.
Very different. Very different. That's like beach resort town, Cancun.
Right. I think I would like Mexico City better.
Mexico City is more European, like more. It's really cool. There's so much culture. It's like going to Thailand, where you have the ancient monuments there that have been there forever and so much unique culture. But then you also, and the food is so unique.
Did you go to Thailand too?
Yes, yeah.
I think I saw
haven't
pictures.
been in a couple of years, but yeah, I love Mexico City. Do you have questions about Mexico City? Because I was there for
give us some travel stories. Just tell us some of your favorite things you've experienced.
Oh gosh. Well, for me, I really love going. I love to travel anywhere, right? But I want to see different cultures. I want to have amazing food. Lots of amazing food. I want to see the sights, so it's got to have lots of cool sights. And I really like art and theater, so I want to go somewhere where I can see art and especially theater.
Yeah, I like theater too.
But Mexico City has a lot of theater.
Really?
And,
that's cool.
And then I love to, I mean, they have to have like a gay scene if I'm going to like really enjoy myself. Honestly, I like to go on travelgay.com or gay travel.
Really?
I can't remember. And it gives you like a map of all the gay places. You type in a city, it tells you all the gay bars, tells you the gay neighborhood. It puts it on a map where all the gay bars are, so you know what neighborhood you should stay in when you're there. It makes it really safe to travel for gay people because you know where to stay, you know what to do. Yeah, and I think since the invention of since the invention of Grindr, I think travel for gay men has changed a lot because you can go into any city and like make friends immediately.
That is so cool. I didn't even know that. That's amazing. Wow.
That's very amazing.
Yeah. So anywhere you go, you can like make friends and have someone. I mostly travel alone, sometimes with friends. Yeah, but I think it's cool because I can make friends. I can go out to a bar. Make friends just to go out to a bar and explore. Sometimes they'll give you a tour, which is nice. Local.
One of our Airbnb hosts was going to give us a tour, but we declined because we were just too jam-packed. We couldn't fit it in our schedule.
That's another thing that I think has made my traveling much more possible is Airbnb. Like when I was in Mexico City for a month, I paid $180 for my room in Mexico City.
For a month?
Yeah, for the whole month.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. It's Airbnb. That's what has allowed me to travel.
But it was like right between the gay neighborhood and the museum strip. So I was like right between both of those things. Really safe. And the people I was staying with, it was called Studio Yi, and it was this beautiful green studio, and everyone that lived there was artists. So it was really
cool.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience.
Well, now I want to go.
Yeah. Yeah, Mexico City is super cheap. I was there for a month. I think I spent like $1,000. And that was me like eating out every single night at a freaking amazing restaurant.
I believe it. I had really good food in Seville.
Taco for like 10 pesos.
The tapas I had in Seville, Spain were to die for.
I still haven't been to Seville.
Oh, and it was cheap too. Portugal, there's a cheap country. Portugal, I think I spent $10 for a steak dinner in Portugal.
We're all saying this, like, oh, our plans are out the window. So.
I know, we can't even visit Europe if we wanted to.
What was that?
We can't even visit Europe if we wanted to.
No, we're not allowed. Actually, I'm supposed to go to China. So because I love travel so much, and I knew we were going to be stuck, I came up with this plan during quarantine, like, I'm going to go, especially because the place I worked in New York has like closed down. I'm going to go and get a job in China. So I got hired to teach in Shanghai. And I thought, oh, this is cool because I'll get to it'll be quarantine and theaters are closed probably till March. I'm estimating like March or April.
I don't know. I'm optimistic for a little earlier than that.
That's me being optimistic, March or April.
Oh.
And so I was like,
I'm still hoping for, February. For my birthday.
Oh, well, maybe a little cabaret, and actually around my corner from where I live, there's live music now, like twice a week.
Cool.
They shut down the street. It's an awesome little Italian restaurant called BJ's in West New York, and they shut down the whole street. And there's like a guy with a guitar and drums, and they put up Christmas lights all over the street, and the tables are really spread out. So that, there's social distancing, and it's cool because the whole neighborhood, gets involved. They don't mind shutting down a street. I mean, traffic was down anyway, and it makes sense.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hopeful for small theater coming back earlier.
Yeah. Well, maybe Don't Tell Mama could set up like an outside stage, like on the little.
Well, they have the music
balcony.
inside and they broadcast it outside. They do have that right now.
That's not the same.
No. No, it is not.
No, I encourage everyone to go support. Please go support Don't Tell Mama so they stay in business.
Yeah. All right, well, we should bring everyone back because it's getting late.
Sure.
I don't know. It's like I always think we will run out of things to talk about, but then it's like already 4:50, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to start our roundtable discussion.
Yeah. That was so cool hearing all your travel stories and inspiring. I hope someday I could travel and have some experiences to talk about too. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
But yeah, I think I still have time.
Yeah, no, you have plenty of time. I didn't really travel, as I said, until my 30s, although Austin was the person who said this way. Austin was the person who took me out of the country for the first time.
Wow.
We went to Toronto, and then we did a trip to London as well.
London's my fave.
And we didn't kill each other. I've been to London twice.
Talking about being able to travel with people is totally a valid thing.
Yeah. Well, I remember he was like, you're getting a passport and we're leaving the country. And then we did.
That's awesome. London is such a great place to go to because there's so much to do there.
Yeah.
And the theater is so cheap.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's true. I saw Dreamgirls for $20.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my friend Marisha was starring in it too. And I was like, wait a minute, I know the star of this.
Yes, I saw her in that too.
Yeah, she's phenomenal.
Which was really, really, she had this amazing place she took us to, wine and cheese place. I had always heard London had bad food, but I love food in London. Really good.
I've had such good food in London.
Yeah, and I love the meat pies. Obsessed. Obsessed.
I don't think I've ever had much food in London. That was my last day of vacation, and it was unexpected. And I think I mostly ate my own granola bars.
Actually,
and then I had dollar pizza.
I was
with €2, which is
I was missing the pot pies of London this week, and so I made homemade vegan paleo pot pies because I missed it so much.
Wow. Yeah, I love the London little meat pies, little pot pies.
Aren't they so good?
They're so good. I'll have one every single day that I'm in London, if I'm in London.
Same.
All right. Well, I think we should get to our roundtable questions. So I think Kelly has the first one.
Okay.
I stole these from an icebreaker website. For the record.
You know what's funny, Seth? I read this question wrong when I looked at it last night. So I have a fun part 2 for it to add.
Okay. Go for it. Go for it.
So what is your most used emoji? And why don't we also answer what emoji we would be if we were an emoji?
Oh.
I think that's kind of a fun thing to add. Or we don't have to. Or we can
no, let's do it. Maybe they're the same one.
Okay, most used emoji, I guess, for me, I don't know what my most used. That's hard. I don't think about that often.
You can look in your phone and it'll tell you.
Oh, well, I use the pink heart a lot, like the pink heart with the like yellow sparkles on it all the time. And I also just use the basic like normal smiley face, like just the really happy looking one. I sent a lot of smiley faces when I text all the time for no reason. So yeah, and if I was an emoji, I would definitely be the kissy face that's winking and has like the little heart coming out like that.
Oh, that's sweet.
For sure. Okay, what about you, David?
My most used emoji is just the face sticking out its tongue, but the eyes are going like this, so it's like a.
Oh, I love that one.
And then I would probably be this one, the guy that's like.
Yeah.
Can you see? Okay, good. Well, I feel like that's whelp. Like that's.
Those are both great emojis. Okay, Austin, what about you?
So this is when I get to turn into my get off my lawn persona because I am so like using emojis scares me. Other than like the basic like smiley face and like sad face, like even in programs like I go in and turn off the emojis so that I can do like the old school emoticon like : parenthesis, smiley face. So yeah, that's a part of technology that has passed me on. And
you are older than I am by quite a few months.
By quite a few months,
yeah. It's like 4 or 5.
That's the generational gap.
Right there.
What about Brianna? What about you?
So my most used emoji is the like party face, like they're blowing that little party thing. You know what I'm talking about?
I love that one. The party hat emoji.
The party hat, because I'm always like, yay, fun. But I think the emoji that I would be the emoji with the stars in her eyes.
Oh, those are both good ones.
Thanks.
They're like the cute. I like the cute ones. Those ones are really cute. What about you, Seth?
I always send the cat with the heart eyes. That's like my generic cat with the heart eyes ones. If I was going to be one, I would probably be the music notes. I also send the music notes a lot too. I think that I would embody music.
That makes a lot of sense for you, Seth, for sure.
All right. So question 2, what superpower would you choose? I think that I always like the idea of being invisible, but I think I would pick flying. I think flying would be great. I dream about flying a lot. And then you don't have to socially distance if you're up in the air and no one else is. Kelly, what about you? What's your superpower?
My God, I don't know. That's so hard. I would want to just have like a magic wand and have like fairy powers to make anything. Like any color I want to wear, change my hair any color, just be able to make magic. But
be your own fairy godmother.
Kind of, yeah. I always kind of thought it'd be cool to read minds too, but also I feel like that might be terrifying because then you'd be hearing everything people are thinking about you all the time, and that actually kind of sounds horrible. So I don't know. So probably just to have a fairy wand.
All right, David, how about you?
Oh, definitely shape-shifting like Mystique on X-Men. Yeah.
That sounds like fun. All right, Austin?
So I mean, I like the idea of flying, but that also just sounds too dangerous. I don't know. So, one thing that'd be really useful, kind of once you have kids and everything is super strength, just to be able to wrangle them in and, handle all the junk you have to move around and everything. So.
Interesting. As the only person we've had with kids on the whole talk show. That's not true. We had some babies, but you're the only one we've had who has teenagers. All right, Brianna, what about you?
So I love traveling so much, and I love history. I'm such a nerd when it comes to history. Time traveling would be such a dream for me because I love period pieces, and I love history, and I'd love to go back in time and just experience it for myself.
What about the future?
Future traveling, yes. Future, past, all of it. That would be,
I'd be
so
scared
fun.
of the future.
Yeah, it's scary. I don't want to know.
I don't know. Maybe we can skip a few months and then get to, 2021.
Yeah.
That would be... I saw some meme and it was just like a time traveler and going to 2020 and like they were like, oh, the first year of quarantine. And I'm like, oh no.
Right. And then what could you do about it? I mean, like stock up on toilet paper? I mean,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right. Kelly has the last question.
Oh, wait, Seth, you didn't tell us yours.
Yeah.
Oh, did I not? No, I did. I started. I said flying.
Yeah, you said the flying.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
No worries.
Okay. So the last question is, what would you do if you had, how would you spend $1 million?
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's a crazy question. I mean,
That is crazy.
I would get all of my super expensive acting stuff done that we all have to go through, such as, getting my reel filmed and my headshots, and I would get a ton of voice acting equipment and stuff for my YouTube channel to help that. I would probably invest in most of my social media because it's my passion, and probably buy a house. I don't know. Oh, and buy some puppies, probably.
Oh, there goes Smee. Smee was here for the whole episode.
Oh, look at that.
I got him to stay for the finale, but now he's going to go.
Seth, I swear your cat is like a person. Like, he knew this was the last episode. And
Yeah, I think so. He's very smart. Like, he stayed for an hour. It's literally almost 5 o'clock. He's like, I'm clocking out.
Yeah.
He's like, that's it. I'm not doing more than an hour, Daddy.
I like how she mentioned puppies and Smee was like, I'm out of here.
It's true.
It was after I mentioned puppies.
That could be it. All right, David, how about you?
What was the question? Oh, $1 million. That's not very much money nowadays.
No,
that's
like
true.
$1 billion would be way better. But I would not say no to $1 million. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
$1 million. With $1 million, I mean, that's not that much money. I still owe some money on my college loan, so I'd pay that. I'd pay off my parents' mortgage. I don't know that you could buy a house with $1 million. At least not where you said you wanted to live in New York. So. You can maybe buy us.
That's true. You can't even buy an apartment in my building for $1 million.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Maybe we should make it $1 billion. Wow, $1 million is nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing.
With $1 million, I would pay off my debts. I would also invest in my career. Invest some seed money into a production company. That $1 million might be enough to get a small independent film off the ground. I mean, that's again,
true.
Not that much money.
You're right. That doesn't even pay for the Lovecraft film budget with the $1.5 million budget. All right. Well, Austin, you're the only one here who's not going to say invest in his career.
Well, in some ways I would, but almost in the opposite direction, because like I feel like that would allow me to like live to work rather than work to live. So like it'd be interesting to be able to like either not quit my job and not work, but to like explore stuff that like I never would have dreamed possible, because I needed, an income to support a family and everything like that, or volunteers or someplace like that, so in a way it would be work related, but it would be, almost trying to find some, a true passion. I hate to say it, I like my job, but, consulting is not a passion. So.
That would be like, I mean, if $1 million just divided by 10, that maybe you could live off for 10 years. You could
which is why I couldn't quit work, but like I'd have to find something else to do. But it would be the buffer
through college too.
Well, but you could put the seed money in now for their college, and it would grow by the time.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, Brianna, what about you?
Well, that's not really that much money these days. But I think I would pay off my parents' mortgage, pay student loans, and then with the excess money, travel. And if there's still excess money, I feel like there's so many people suffering right now, so I would donate it to people suffering that have lost their jobs from COVID, and just, I don't know. California, it's really apparent what COVID has done. So I would try to help people out that are really hurting right now.
Wow.
And I think it's critical to remember that too, because I mean, early on in this, I think, there was a lot of talk of that, but now that it's been months, there's a lot of kind of, mental fatigue, and people, who are more fortunate are working, forget that.
I know. I had not to like really darken everything, but I've known people that have committed suicide during this. It's just like it's really been quite bad. Just the mental effects of losing your job, losing your hopes and dreams. Some people losing their homes, like losing your health, losing a loved one. So I would definitely donate the rest of the money to the people hurting right now.
Well, Kelly's mom would give all the money to Kelly and her sister.
Aww.
I am too selfish to think like that. I was going to probably save all the money and invest it and turn it into a lot more money. And then I was going to fund all my projects. But my projects have a lot of people in them. So that's almost like charity, giving to artists and letting them, do work, funding all the actors I would use. I would pay them all, union wages, and that would eat up the $1 million very quickly too. But I feel like if I put half of it,
that's dangerously close to being like business titans or the most charitable people around.
Yeah. But $1 million would not even buy an apartment in my building, so it's not enough money.
Let alone the ongoing fees and such.
Yeah, that's
with.
true.
Yep.
But I just, I took these questions off an icebreaker quiz, and
Why
I
weren't you
stand
travel
by them.
questions, Seth? Why didn't you ask us travel questions?
Because we talked the whole episode about travel. I thought usually we try to go in a total different direction.
Oh, okay.
Well, we asked you a lot of travel. Is there any other question you want to answer before we end our season? Kelly's mom is going to miss that.
Tips, the two of you, for me on little corners I can cut, little cheap things I can do to travel, save money.
I do.
Airbnb.
There's this really great app called Travel Pirates, and they will give you cheap hotels, cheap airlines, like kind of like Skyscanner. Like you go here and then you take like a one-way flight here, and then it's like way cheaper. I flew to Japan for $450.
Wow.
And my parents live in Florida. That was round trip, and I paid like $580 to go to Florida. So it was cheaper to go to Japan than Florida, which makes no sense.
I'm on this list called Scott's Flights, and they give us deals. There was like a $200 round trip to Anchorage, Alaska, and I was this close, and then I couldn't get myself to do it right now.
Yeah, and leverage your work flexibility, since you're in a non-traditional career, and travel when other people aren't traveling. Travel in the shoulder seasons, off seasons.
Oh, yeah, that's what I do.
That's what I've been doing. Yeah, me and Seth both do that.
Tuesday to Tuesday, too. If you fly out on
Tuesdays.
a Tuesday, the flights are always cheaper on a Tuesday and Wednesday.
Wednesday also are really cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
But definitely Airbnb. And I still have my student ID from grad school, and it has no expiration date. And that works in Europe and Asia. It does not work in New York because they know that that NYU has different IDs now. But, if I wear a hat, I can use the ID. I have to wear a hat to cover the balls. But
and check out like message boards and stuff, because, locals tend to know where, the affordable good eats are and everything. So
it's true. I always ask my
smart.
Airbnb host a whole bunch of questions about things like that.
I really like TripAdvisor too. I found some really cool places on Indonesia, because I went to a remote place in Indonesia called Bintan. And so, yeah, TripAdvisor was really helpful for that.
And Standemans does free walking tours in most of the major cities.
Oh.
You just tip. So if you hated it, you don't have to give any money. But that's not nice. But there's always paid tours and free tours, and I've never found much difference. You take the free tour, you tip nicely.
Oh, I have one more tip, but this is just for Japan.
Okay.
You have to get the railroad pass before you go to Japan, because only tourists can buy the Japanese railroad pass. So once you get to Japan, you can't get the cheap pass. So, yeah.
That's fascinating. That's really good to know. All right. Any other travel tips before we sign off for our season?
Where's the wrap party?
You're looking at it.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really fun listening to all your stories today, guys. I can't believe it's our last episode
I
of the
know. Well, we'll let everyone go and then we'll shut down. But thanks, guys. That was really fun.
Everyone.
So
Thank
nice
you.
to see all my friends. All right, and it's just us. Yeah, I can't believe we did 15 episodes.
That's a lot of episodes. I think we did a pretty good job.
I think that is a very good first season. I
For sure.
often only do 12 or 13 episodes in a season, so 15.
Yeah.
And
Not
it's
bad.
exciting that you have a job.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Even if you have to wake up at 6 a.m.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good to be out in the world around people again, and not just sitting around in my room all day like, what do I do? What do I do? And to be, getting to walk around the city and going somewhere. So it's nice. But I hope that we could stay hopeful moving forward, Seth, and that things continue to slowly go back to normal.
Yeah, things are starting. When we started this, we had no idea we would be shut down this long. And,
yeah.
I think things are slowly getting back there. And there are some vaccines that hopefully will work by the end of the year, hopefully. And I think that when Joe Biden is president, he will put the country back together after the last 4 years of nightmare. So I'm just hopeful. I'm hopeful, and I remain optimistic that we can start from the ground up and things will be better than they were before this whole pandemic.
Me too. And I think being optimistic and positive.
And Kelly's mom loves us.
Aw. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Kelly's mom and my father for watching every episode.
For watching every episode and being so lovely and commenting and supporting.
If you missed any episodes, you can go back and watch them all.
Yep.
Mark Rubb says, keep our chin up. And it was nice meeting you too, Maureen. Maybe one day. I can't wait for Maureen to see Love Quirks when we're back off Broadway.
When things go back. Let's just stay positive, Seth. And I'm so glad that you and I got to do this together.
Yeah, I think we brought some positive energy to the world at a very tough time.
I think so too, for sure.
I'm really proud of our show, especially our episode on racism. I think was really very good and educational. So hopefully,
very important one.
Yeah, so hopefully people enjoyed this, and you can still find me Sundays doing Zumba, Mondays Facebook Live, Tuesdays showcases, Wednesday podcasts. And Kelly, what is your schedule with your videos?
Well, you can find me on YouTube. I'm a YouTuber under Kelly True Thoughts. I post every Monday and Friday. And I do live streams on Instagram Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8, where I talk about positive motivational stuff. And I'm on TikTok at Kelly True Thoughts 618. And my Instagram is Kelly, right there, Kelly with 2 Y's and MCC. So if you guys want a little bit of uplifting, positive, motivational advice every 3 nights a week at 8, tune in, because I love to help people. It's what I like to do.
Yeah, so we're still around. We just, we're just not here for now. Yeah. But hopefully, you can see me on SethBH.com. Follow me. So thanks, everyone, for watching. We really appreciate all the fans out there. Maureen says you totally brought fun and happiness during this time. So that's all we can aim to do,
Absolutely.
And for the final time, here comes our theme song.
Aww.
What day is it with Seth and Kelly? All right, have a great rest of the summer, everybody.
Bye, guys. Have a great rest of the summer.